It's pure madness to think of all the trouble that somebody will go through just to kill a turkey. The hours spent scouting, knocking doors, getting permission, checking cameras, just to have your feelings hurt and get let down time and time again. But when it finally all comes together and you get to reap the fruits of all that hard labor that you've put in, it instantly makes it all worth it. And that's exactly what happened in this film.
This has by far been probably the toughest season I've had, I know. And going with Garrett, trying to get him a bird, he wanted to call in his own bird and make his own kill. He's usually the guy that's behind the camera, and this year I got to spend some time behind the camera and let him do the hunting, which was great. When Garrett said he wanted to get his own bird this year, he wanted to call his own bird, and I was like, absolutely, man, I'll jump on the camera all day.
We'd been watching this area for a while, at least a few weeks before the season had opened, and we were seeing good, consistent tracks, strut marks, and even had some really good pictures on a trail camera that we had set up out there. And so we were really coming into the season thinking that this spot was going to pay off and that it should be a pretty easy hunt. The first day, we had 2 toms gobbling hard on the roost, and we just knew that they weren't far, and that it was just a matter of time before they'd show up.
Garrett actually spotted a hen coming from down the road in the back of the field, and we watched her. We're like, all right, here we go. The hen comes out, he's going to be right behind her. So we watched this hen. The hen came out, she fed all around us, came up pretty close. We got some good footage of her. But we were trying to figure out, where is this tom? She's been out here now for 15 minutes and we still haven't seen this tom. We're just waiting.
Unfortunately, they never showed for whatever reason, and that day we ended up walking out empty-handed.
We went back for a second hunt. Strike one was already in the bag.
We had one tom that was gobbling on the limb super close, and he was hammering hard. And we knew he wasn't far away. We knew he had to be right on the edge of this opening.
We actually got a chance to see him fly down. He flew right down in the back of the field we were hunting. And it's like he wanted it, but he didn't want to commit to it.
At that point, we pretty much had realized that he was hung up and that he was not going to come any closer.
It's just like he lost interest. He said, not today.
And after a while, he finally just lost interest and ended up leaving. And it just didn't happen.
We go back for the third attempt. We set up, and this time we're thinking, we're not going to get this same hung up bird. We're going to move our decoys back some. So we actually went with just a hen. We moved her, probably about 30 yards away from us, kind of behind us.
That way, if he'll come half the way, he would still at least be in shooting distance.
We thought we had outsmarted the bird, and once again, he outsmarted us.
Him and actually one of his buddies ended up showing up, and they popped out behind us where the hen decoy was.
30 yards behind us where we don't have a shot. Can't hardly get the camera to him. We're both trying to turn, look over our shoulder.
They went full strut. They strutted all around her for what seemed like an eternity. And we were just going off of hoping that maybe they'll finally lose interest and come down the road and give us a shot.
And they did. They started walking up the road. They got about 20 yards away, and Garrett took the shot. And I don't know if it was just, it happened so fast, it kind of surprised us coming off to the left, but when he pulled the trigger, he shot over him.
I ended up missing the shot. He came right by us, probably 20, 25 yards, and I just shot right over top of him.
When Garrett missed that bird, you could see it in his eyes. He was done.
You really don't understand how depressing it can be until you experience that yourself for the first time. And we'd just been working so hard, chasing this bird so hard, and he finally slipped up and gave us that shot, and I blew it.
Strike one, strike two, and now there's strike three, and the bird got away, 2 of them.
I was to the point where I was so frustrated that I didn't even want to go there. I said, you know what? Let's give this spot a break.
This season has ate away at me. It's ate away at Garrett. It's been tough. We've been trying to get on this bird. We've tried other spots, couldn't get on him there. And the last day of the season, we said we're going to give it one more shot.
If we're going to make it happen, there's no other place I'd rather do it than the first spot where we had started and where we had all this bad luck. I said that would be the most rewarding place to finally seal the deal.
We're sitting there and we hear gobbles early that morning, but they're kind of off in a distance. It's like he picked another roost. He wasn't there where we thought he was.
We sat there for a little while, never heard anything, and then all of a sudden we heard some leaves scratching over to our right.
I kept kind of tapping Garrett, saying, I think there's a bird over here on the right side of the woods. I can hear him.
Nate, who was running the camera, finally got an eye on him, and did locate him over there, and said that he was pretty sure that it was a tom.
He kind of almost got hung up in the edge of those woods. He saw the decoy, started clucking, scratching on the ground, and just, you could tell, I was sitting there watching him, you could tell that he weren't sure what he saw. He weren't sure if he was going to go in there or not.
Finally, after a couple minutes of scratching over there in the edge of the wood line, he finally popped out.
He still didn't come to the decoy, but he was checking it out, and he was close enough that he was right there in range. Well,
I was set up to shoot where the decoys were, where the decoy was, and at that point, we had kind of realized he's not coming to that decoy.
He started getting with it across that field. I mean, he started kind of high stepping, and finally Garrett was able to kind of lean around and move around and get around this tree.
I don't know if he heard us, if he saw us, or what. Well, he took off running.
He started taking off toward the woods, and I was like, man, you got to do it right now. It's got to happen.
Well, right before he got into the woods, he stopped, and at that point we thought he was gone. Nate kind of lost him in the camera, was trying to find him, and
Garrett was kind of hesitant to shoot him because he after missing that bird the last time, he wanted to make sure he had a good clean shot. And with it being the last day and the way he was acting toward that decoy, I just kept telling Garrett, I was like, man, just take the shot, take the shot, take the shot. Garrett took the shot, and it was a good shot. It was pretty far, but he dropped him where he stood. I saw him turn around, smack his hat on the ground, and look at me, and I knew he had him.
Just instantly, a flashback of the entire season and all the attempts that we had made was just running through my mind.
When he got up and he went over there and saw that bird down, he looked at me, and you could see the relief in him. He was so happy. I was happy for him because I was just about as frustrated as he was.
We busted our tail all season long to get let down over and over and over. And on the last day, on the last try, we finally got to kill the bird that we'd been chasing the whole season.
Garrett killing that bird was probably one of the most rewarding hunts I've been on, just because of the fight we spent trying to get him. Seeing him get his first bird on camera and being able to call it in, we hit those check boxes we wanted to do, and that's what made this video. With that being said, I think that this is probably a hunt that neither one of us are ever going to forget, just because of the fight we had, and we ended on a good note with a bird on the ground.